It is Indiana in the Morning. As always, we are presented by First Commonwealth Bank, and it's AM 1160 WCCS 101.1 FM. Carrie Bence is with us this morning. I haven't seen her for so long. My goodness, where have you been? Working and working very hard with the Armstrong, Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission. And that is an agency that is so much in demand now. My goodness gracious, we could talk for hours about the things that you are dealing with.
Yes.
But we want to talk about a specific event that is coming up. The Chamber Expo is on Saturday at the Indiana Mall. You're going to be there and doing something very special.
Yes, the Drug and Alcohol Commission is going to be at the mall. We're actually going to be in one of the storefronts. It was the old Foot Locker store, and we're going to be set up in there to do Naloxone training, also known as Narcan. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know, Naloxone is a medication that can reverse an overdose that's caused by an opioid drug. And so your opioids would be your pain medications like Vicodin, Percocet, Oxycontins, also illegal drug like heroin. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have computers set up. People can come in, sit down at a computer. It takes about 15 minutes. You do the training online. It prints out a certificate for you, and then we give you a free kit of Naloxone nasal spray.
Okay. Now, it is, and you know this more than anybody, is Naloxone available only as a nasal spray, or what are the various administrative forms of it?
There are various administrations of Naloxone. We give out the nasal spray because it is one of the cheaper versions. I mean, they are still expensive, but there's also there's a nasal like injection, but you have to put that together. It takes a little bit of time. Where this is more like a Flonase. You literally take it out of the box, take it out of the package, and you can spray it right up the nose. You don't have to assemble the kit or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. So who would you recommend be sure that they get in for this testing?
I would say that anybody who has been prescribed an opioid medication, they might be on a painkiller. It's good to have Naloxone in your home because you could have an accidental overdose. You might have taken your medication and then forgot that you took your medication, especially an elderly person, and you could experience an accidental overdose. So having that on hand so that somebody else could use that on you if needed. Anybody that has a loved one that's suffering from an opioid addiction to painkillers, to heroin, parents, any loved one that could administer that drug if they were to experience an overdose. Yeah. To have that on hand. And you never know when a child might accidentally get into the medication cabinet and take something. Mm-hmm. So if you have opioids or somebody that's addicted to an opioid, it's good to have it on hand.
Yeah. Okay. So questions folks will have. Number one is going to be with Naloxone, this dosage that I'm going to be getting on Saturday. Does it have an expiration date? Do I need to refrigerate it? All of those questions are things that are going to come up in people's minds.
Right. And in the box, it's just like in any other medication. It comes with a pamphlet inside that explains all of that. But the shelf life of Naloxone is about 2 years, and there is an expiration date on the box. So it's visible, and you can keep that somewhere where you can see it. As far as storage, you don't want to be in extreme hot or extreme cold. Mm-hmm. So we don't recommend, especially in the winter, that you carry it in your car. Try to carry it in a purse or a bag that you might take in and out of your car if you were to transport it that way. Mm-hmm. Same thing within the summer.
Yeah. The event on Saturday is going to be for the entire duration of
Yes, we'll be there
the Chamber
at
Expo,
10 to 3.
10 to 3. Do people need to sign up ahead of time?
No, just walk in, and as soon as a computer is free, if there isn't a computer free at the time, what we do is we'll take down your name, and if you have a cell phone, we'll take your cell phone, and then we'll text you as soon as another computer becomes available, and then you can just come back.
That's a great thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Technology.
5 or 10 years ago, you might not have even considered that, but now you know that everybody has them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that seems to be working out for us, and it's an easy way to get the medication. And like I said, it's free, so I encourage everybody to come out and do that.
Now, you know that there are going to be people who think they'll be stigmatized by going in there. They'll be afraid to go in there because they'll think people might see me going in there.
Right.
Need to dispel that right away.
Right. And that's something, we have a Drug-Free Communities Coalition, and we meet on the first Wednesday of every month, and we meet up at Citizens on West Pike. Mm-hmm. So we are trying to dispel the stigma around addiction. People still have the stigma, still might be ashamed to seek treatment, and that's not the case. We need to get rid of that stigma. Everybody probably knows somebody nowadays that has a loved one suffering from addiction, and they need to get them help, and they need to get them treatment. And treatment is available. And we know that once people do get into the proper treatment, that recovery is possible if we can support that person in the proper ways.
Carrie Bence is with us. Armstrong, Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission. They'll be at the Chamber Expo coming up on Saturday, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we end the segment. But I wanted to just spend a few moments talking about what you do at the commission and how people can avail themselves of your services on a daily basis.
Okay. Some days it's kind of like, what don't we do at the commission? Well, I oversee our prevention department. So we go out into the schools, grades K through 12 in all 3 of our counties, and we provide prevention education to students. We are also out in the community, and we provide prevention education in the community. So if somebody wanted us to come into even their place of employment, we can do a quick lunch and learn, drug trends, signs, symptoms, what to look out for. If somebody's looking to get a drug policy, maybe for their place of employment, we could help guide them in that area. So we do a lot of community things as well. We work in the community to do a lot of prevention. We work with law enforcement. We've gotten the prescription drug take-back boxes that we have available in the community. So most of them are at our police stations. We do naloxone trainings in the community as well. Actually, later on today, I'm doing one over at the VFW for a group. So we can come into your place of employment and do a quick naloxone training with a small group of people and, distribute the naloxone right there. Yeah. So we're always out in the community. And then we have case managers and we have certified recovery specialists that help get people into treatment and help them stay in recovery as well. Mm-hmm.
Now, people are sitting out there this morning, and they're in a desperate situation.
Right.
They either are or they know somebody in their family who is really spiraling downhill quickly.
Right.
They need to know, who do I get in contact with? How quickly can I get help? And you're there for them, too.
Right. They can call our agency, the Armstrong, Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission, depending on what county you live in. If it's Indiana County, you can start with the open door, and they would do a drug and alcohol assessment and then do a referral to treatment and decide, what level of care that person might need. Mm-hmm. There are all kinds of resources out there that people can attach themselves to. It's just a matter of finding them. And there's all kinds of support groups available. The Drug-Free Communities Coalition is a great way to learn about all those support groups available as well and get connected to the right people and the right resources.
At naloxone training events, such as the one you'll be doing on Saturday, are there people who come in and they go through that training process and they say, boy, my eyes were really opened up about this or about that? What are some of those issues that people are surprised by and that they learn then, therefore, that they can be a part of a solution?
Most definitely. And we'll not only have the naloxone available there, we're going to have all kinds of resources available in our room as well that will help people. And I think people are amazed, especially when they come to one of our trainings or one of our meetings, because we hold town hall meetings and things like that, just how much is already going on in the community that they might not be aware of. That most of our law enforcement in the county carry naloxone, that there's prescription drug take-back boxes where they can get rid of their unused and unwanted medication, that there's all kinds of grassroots support groups available out there. We work with the Blairsville support group, and we do a lot with them as well, and that churches are involved, and that there's just so many people involved in trying to get, people help.
Yeah, there was a big church-organized event in Clymer earlier this week, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah, so the resources are out there. We just need to get people to forget about whatever their qualms might be about training for naloxone and about the whole issue of drugs and drug abuse.
Right.
And that's step one in fixing the problem.
Right. Addiction is a disease. and we need to treat it like a disease. If somebody were diabetic and they, maybe ate too much sugar in one day, we're not going to turn them away and say, oh, you're a bad person. We're not going to treat you. It's the same thing with drug addiction. We cannot be turning people away, and we need to treat it as a disease.
Okay. So we're walking in on Saturday at the Indiana County Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, and we are going to come to the former location of the Foot Locker.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to find Carrie and her troops.
Yes.
And the training will be from 10 until 3, and just come by. That's the main thing.
Yeah, just stop by, and even if you just want to stop by to see what it's all about, you don't necessarily have to take the training, but there's definitely going to be brochures, pamphlets, all kind of resource information available. And if you want to get involved, it's another avenue to get involved.
Absolutely. Carrie, thanks so much for coming in this morning.
All right, thank you, Todd.
And it is Indiana in the Morning, presented, as always, by First Commonwealth Bank here on AM 1160 WCCS 101.1 FM.